Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I want to do a short video on something I've been dying to talk about. I'm not sure I'll be able to cover everything in one video, so I might have to do a part two if you're interested in that. But I want to talk about ugly privilege. And again, I'm not trying to be dingy. I understand that the world that we live in is a man's world. The prettier you are, the better you're treated. Not just in when it comes to dating and vanity, but literally the hospital. I will never forget my mother telling me, because I'm going to the hospital, what I gotta look cute for? But she would always tell me, no, put yourself together, because as a black woman, they're just not going to treat you that well. And if you look shitty, they're going to treat you shitty. If you look like you could be the president's daughter, they'll treat you with a little bit more prestige. So I understand that being pretty does, come with advantages and whatnot, and being ugly can be perceived as a disadvantage. But let's be for real. There are so many privileges to being an ugly or unattractive or unseen or unkept woman. Now, at first, it's like, girl, what? But I think I mentioned this in my last video. I have my own vices, but vanity has never been one of them. I use beauty as a tool, as a means to an ends to me. Again, I think I said in my last video, if I could walk around like a troll doll, I would. But I understand that as a woman, you have to and some girls aren't pretending, they really do love doing their hair every day. That's beautiful. I love it. You're a Disney princess. But as a woman, you kind of have to perform. You have to pretend. You have to stay in character. You have to code switch. You just gotta be like that. That's how it is as a woman. Some women are OD. Like, you know how those girls get around guys and their voice changes? Some women OD, but we all do it. So we cannot judge them. So I just want to talk about like ugly privilege and stuff, because this is something I've benefited now. Mind you, I have to be specific because I don't want to come off like dinky, but me personally, and I hate rating myself on a scale from 1 to 10, but just all seriousness, I don't know, this feels so weird, like just putting myself out there like this, but I'm like 5'6", 5'7", considered caramel. I get really light in the winter, but I have a really cool tan when I go on vacation and stuff. My phenotype is more like the Blasian look. I've been told that I look like Nicki Minaj and stuff like that. So I know that my phenotype, now granted, I'd always compared myself to like women that I thought were more beautiful than me. So I didn't ever really recognize my own beauty privilege. So I might be a little bit blinded when it comes to my opinion on that. But something I do know is ugly privilege. So I understand that the way I look, now mind you, growing up in school and shit, even though I had this phenotype of a beautiful girl, I will never forget, y'all. Mind you, I was a kid, so I didn't know how to take it, but I will never forget. I used to get bullied a lot in middle school, but I will never forget, because you know how it is when you're in school. Somebody will be like, oh, there goes your girlfriend, and all the boys would go, ew, ew. Like, I was one of those, even though I was pretty. I was just a nerd. Like, I read books, I read comic books, I wrote poetry, I was on the debate team, I played chess. I was begging for it to get bullied. But yeah, I was walking in the hallway one day, and this guy, I forget, this guy named Chris, he was like the class clown. And he basically said, oh, I thought you were someone else. Like, from far away, you look really pretty. But once I realized it was you, I was like, ew. And I'm like, oh, yeah, fuck you, guy. But I realized that I actually was beautiful. I would just do things to make myself ugly. Now, there's a lot of psychology right behind someone would do that, but I want to keep this light. One of the funnest things about ugly privilege is the peace. If you don't prefer male attention all like that, there's something so comforting about throwing on a bonnet, throwing on a hoodie, some cheap ass little sweats with fucking stones on. I know it sounds so like but it's like an invisibility cloak, like from fucking Harry Potter. Like, literally, like, there's something so peaceful about it. And I am genuinely an introvert. I don't, you know, I don't want to go out and talk to hella people. And if you look really nice, men will approach you. People will approach you. Everyone will assume that if you look nice, that you are nice, and they want to talk to you. And I am an introvert. So when I go to the store, when I go out and handle things that, you have to do, I genuinely want to get back home as quick as possible and speak to as least many people as possible. I go over conversations in my head with the cashier, so I know, how easy to say things. I am a little bit like, I wouldn't say I'm shy. I'm actually quite bold, but I am an introvert, and I was sheltered growing up, so I can be socially awkward in certain situations, but that's more so when it comes to like small talk and day to day. I feel like if I was to sit down with someone, I could talk to anyone and they would feel comfortable with me. But when it comes to like daily stuff, like, I am a little bit more introverted. So there's something about dressing up like a bum and being able to do whatever you want. I also find that if you are an intellectual girl, or maybe you're a gamer girl, or you do things where there's a lot of men that run that, if you and there's a lot of women in politics that do this, they will change the tone of their voice and sound more monotone so that they're taken more seriously. So if you don't raise your voice hella octaves or talk like a fairy princess. Unfortunately, you can be taken more seriously, especially if you have something that you feel like is important to say. So you're taken more seriously, less people bother you. And if you're an intellectual introvert, those things are huge pluses. Again, if you're not, if you're an extrovert, if you're an attention seeker, if you're a social climber, you want to be noticed. So that won't be good for you. But not everybody wants that. So there's just so many different privileges, the ugly privilege that I prefer. I saw something that I said, if someone really likes you if you're ugly because if they're there and you're not giving them any other benefits or labor and they still like you, there you go. They're not just there for your beauty. Let's see what else. I just feel like there's so many different things and sometimes it's not like a direct privilege. It's something that you don't have to worry about if you were beautiful. Like, let's say if you do something really good at a job. If you're super hot, people are going to assume you slept with someone and get it. But if you're the ugly fat chick with the glasses, that's nice to everyone. When you're like ugly or something, or maybe you present yourself as ugly, people will assume you're more competent than what you really are. And people might assume that you're a better person than what you really are. Because when you're really pretty, whenever there was a time in my life where I did want to invest into beauty, because I did go to cosmetology school, so there was a time where I was getting my hair and makeup done every single day. People would tell me, "Oh, I thought you were mean at first before I got to know you." You would never tell me that if I was 10 pounds heavier and I wore glasses and had a lisp. So, there's just so many different privileges to not being perceived as the quote unquote beauty standard. But that's just something I wanted to talk about. I feel like no one's ever talked about that before. And there are privileges to that as well. There's ups and downs to everything, of course, but these are some of the privileges of being quote unquote ugly. So, yeah, this was just a quick rant. Thank you again for listening. Have a beautiful day.